Before we get started, I'd like to briefly explain my 7 energy point chakra spread. The cards on the left are the unconscious inner self. The card in the center is the heart. And the 3 cards on the right are the conscious foreself. The card on the bottom left is the base of your spine. It's a combination of many things, from past lives to tragic or cherished childhood memories up to the present. We're always culling and bringing new things into our lives and evolving. That's why I'm calling it sourcings and urgings instead of foundation. The second card up is your pelvic or sacrum. And this is awakening or arousing. This is where your spiritual awakening is, and growth of all kinds, and includes your sexual prowess. This can be a cosmic life breath. The cosmos has natural laws that live in harmony, but we don't always live in harmony with them. The top left-hand card is the solar plexus, or what I consider sensing and feeling. This is where you get those gut feelings about something when they're right or wrong. This is also a universal life force, contrary to a cosmic life breath. This is where chaos ensues in our lives. The center card is the heart of the matter, or the situation. We're always asking questions. Why did this happen, and what's going to happen next? The heart of the matter must connect with the unconscious and the conscious, so we can leave our shadow self in the dust. Another Jungian reality here. And maybe have more of an understanding of what's happening in our lives. The card on the bottom right is the throat, or what I consider communicating and teachings. It has to do with how we accept the rules of society and how we live our life. Are you living a conservative, orthodox life, or more of a new wave, do what you want kind of life? The second card up is the third eye, or seeing or envisioning. It's more of bringing things from a linear to a 3-dimensional perspective. The third eye is our pineal gland in the center of our brain that's activated by light. So this can also be considered enlightenment. The card on the top right is the crown, our knowing and understanding. You can have a lot of knowledge, but if you cannot apply this knowledge wisely, it's not wisdom. In the past, I used to pull a hidden Rider-Waite card as I was doing the readings, but for logistic reasons, I'm going to be pulling all of the cards at once, and then putting these clarification cards alongside each of the main cards as I'm telling the story of the reading. The subtitles will direct you through this so you don't lose track of what's going on and where I'm at and what card I'm reading. And then on the left, I'll be putting a past card. And on the right, I'll be putting a future card. And on with the readings. Hi there, Gemini. I think you noticed that I'll be preempting my messages of the angel card reading and doing a rune reading associated to the tarot reading. You'll see a little rune underneath the center cards of the spread. I've had these runes forever and didn't have any idea that I'd be using them on a YouTube channel years later. And I do plan on doing more rune readings in the future, so I may have to get some larger ones. Now, while you're listening to my reading, think of a yes or no question for something you desire, because I'm playing this little 8-ball game, and we'll see what the answer is at the end of the reading. Now, I know everybody's had somewhat a rough ride through April, or are still having one, because I'm not sure when you're listening to this, but May looks much brighter. The planets are talking to each other, and they're in harmonious aspects to each other. And the commanding energy is air and fire, and air combusts fire, so everything's meshing well. And I think there's going to be more of a flow to May for every sign. And it kind of feels like everybody's just been coming out the other end of a wood chipper lately, because there's been a lot of people in April that were hanging on to some emotional baggage to the point where I felt like people needed a baggage check when they left the house. But all of a sudden now the energy is really free-flowing and breezy feeling, and people aren't carrying this baggage around anymore. They're turning themselves around and changing their attitude to start anew. And just cursory looking at your reading, you had a lot of luck, but there's something holding you back. Let's go see what's going on in your May tarot reading. I'm going to start with the past because you received the Wheel of Fortune, and my goodness, so many people in the signs for May received it, but not in the past. So you have a little bit of work to do in May. Things might have gone well with you in the recent past. Makes me think of the number 63, I Ching. It's called already 40, or completion of completion. Nothing is ever really complete. You get to a point and you're at an end point, but then you have to start again and do more. The wheel reminds you of the capricious nature of fate. Rota Fortuna, they called it in Latin. And the goddess Fortuna changed the position of the fates as the wheel spun. Considering it random, but is it really? And this is telling you that old roads lead to new forks in the road. And it unveils revolutionary new prospects. And now you've sought out these new prospects because down in the base of your spine for sourcing and urgings, you receive the Three of Wands and the Fool. The Three of Wands is about boldly going out in the world and finding your place, navigating the rough seas and sailing your ship into a safe harbor. It's about making your plans into a reality, and it's a card about motion and movement and going forward. And now you're the Fool. Spiritus, the breath or spirit of life, the itinerant wanderer, that now wants to discover the great mysteries of life and how you fit into this with your small little microcosm of your world. For any Gemini, you're the nomadic wanderer of your mind, but you do have a capricious nature, just like the Wheel of Fortune has. And I don't think your adventures are aimless, but it's more for the experience of it. In Buddhism, time is not counted, but experienced. And I think that's what you want to do right now, is you want new experiences for new learning opportunities. And the Wheel from the past and the Three of Wands next to the Fool is giving you the runway for this. Now up in your sacrum and pelvic for awakening and arousing, you receive the Four of Pentacles. They call this the miser card, that you're not charitable and you're hanging on to money, but I don't look at it that way. It's like you're a Klingon and you're hanging on to something that doesn't serve you anymore. Maybe you have an attitude like it's play now and pay later, and not making the right decisions that you should be making right now. Because the clarification card is the Two of Cups. It's a card about decision, partnership, balance. It's also about relationships and the level of your relationship. And I think for some reason you're hanging on to something emotionally. It could be a love connection, or it could be a connection to things that just should not remain in your life. And you've been hesitant to change. And up above in your solar plexus, you received the Fool again. It's reminding you that the Fool heralds refreshing new beginnings with freedom and optimism, but he also has a perilous naivety about him, and I think you've been a little naive about what's going on. Now the clarification card is a good card. It's the Ten of Pentacles. It's a card of retirement And we're not all at the retirement age, so it's more of a card of just satisfaction and contentment. And maybe things are moving fast now and you're realizing that you really do have to change and take the rose-colored glasses off, because I pulled another clarification card and you received the Eight of Wands. The card of sudden change. And it's also a card of messages and news. And maybe it's you saying to yourself, hey there, Kmart shopper, it's really time to change. Now in the center for the heart of the matter, and more of the subconscious you receive the Eight of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Now the Eight of Pentacles is about being skilled and talented, and Gemini is skilled and talented in many, many different ways. It's to the point where you're going from a student to a master, and you can teach other people. Now the Ace of Swords says, yeah, now it's time for a new sword beginning. Because you are swords. You are air. You're intellect. And all of a sudden you can use this sword to cut to the heart of the matter. Find the fork in the road for the revolutionary new prospects that the Wheel of Fortune in the past has offered. It's there, you just have to see it. And use your talents to move all of the plans that you're making with the Three of Wands forward. Now down in your throat for learning and communicating, teachings, receive the Seven of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. 2 sevens. 7 can be a very spiritual number, or it can be the number of testing, putting you through various obstacles and tests. Now the Seven of Wands is about you succeeding, but you're on top of the hill and you're constantly defending yourself or defending your beliefs or defending your decisions. And the Seven of Pentacles is about almost to harvest. This is a tenuous time that you have to be vigilant in what you say and do, because the fruit of your labors and the abundance from them can be lost in one swooping motion. You know, the Ace of Swords in the heart of the matter is there, but it's only a promise. You're the one that has to do the hard work to make this a reality. But there's another new fork in the road up in the third eye for seeing and envisioning, because you receive the King of Pentacles and the Lover's card. The King of Pentacles is saying that you've been running your life more like a CEO in a company. As with the Eight of Pentacles in the heart of the matter, it's saying, yeah, you've been a really talented person and you've made some wealth. And even here it's health and well-being. And the Lover's card is paralleling the Two of Cups across the reading in your pelvic and sacrum for spiritual awakening. It's connecting your conscious with your unconscious. You know what's going on, but the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing right now. Because up in the crown, for knowing and understanding, you receive the Tower. Something is collapsing. And the clarification card is the Eight of Swords, saying you're in some kind of bondage. But the Tower is saying that it's freeing you from this bondage. I don't think it was a fatal, total collapse. I just think there was some fault lines running under the ground and ruining the foundation of some things. The Lover's card and the Two of Cups is about making decisions. And we've already talked about the Wheel in the past, so let's skip over to the future. And how strange. The main card for your future is, again, the Eight of Swords. It's saying to you that you've been your own worst enemy by holding yourself back. And that comes back to the Four of Pentacles, the Miser card, where You're hanging on to something for no reason. And now the clarification card I pulled for the future for the Eight of Swords is the Magician. Now it's saying you have all of the tools that you need to manifest the dreams and goals that you see in your eyes so that you can move forward in life. The Magician personifies you, Gemini, and the planet Mercury. It's saying that's you. It's time for you to get off your tush and make some decisions and move forward. Be the fool that you received twice and go on your self-discovery mission. And I wish you acceptance, peace, and happiness.